Alright, hey guys, welcome to my life update. If you've been following me on Instagram, I have been going through some shifts in my reality, a lot of big changes, and I want to talk about some of the things that I've realized, some things I've been reflecting upon. Maybe you've been going through it too. I always feel like you guys are usually on the same journey as me, so maybe you can relate to some of this. Also, this video might be triggering for some of you because, well, you'll see. You'll see. It might be triggering. So I'm going to try to speak these words with a lot of compassion, a lot of honesty, and love, and hopefully you guys can be open to whatever I have to share. So let's start here. You guys know, a lot of you know, I deal with anxiety and some depression. And if you've been following me on Instagram this past year, you know last year I developed some histamine intolerance and some food sensitivities. I even went on a low acid diet because I wasn't able to incorporate a lot of different fruits and vegetables. They were really bothering me. And then recently I had horrible anxiety. Like, really, really bad. And it got really bad a month ago. And it was interesting because it felt like I couldn't breathe. Like I had the shortness of breath, but I didn't feel anxious about anything in my life. So I was doing a lot of meditating, a lot of self-reflection. I was trying to see if this was something, like some past trauma or something like that. And I couldn't figure it out. At first I thought I was using too much social media, so I just cut that out. Then I thought it was allergies, and I just felt like I couldn't breathe and I couldn't relax at night. I wasn't sleeping well. I was waking up like every 2 hours. And I was like, oh, why am I feeling like this? It just didn't make sense to me. I have been eating so clean for like the past 4 years. And I have been doing the emotional work. I was really happy with things in my life. And I just didn't feel like there was any reason to be feeling so much discomfort. It just wasn't making sense. And so when it got worse, this anxiety, we'll call it anxiety even though it felt like something kind of different, it got really bad, and I was taking relaxing herbs every day, like kava root and holy basil and all sorts of minerals, calming minerals and stuff like that, and they weren't even helping at this point. And one day, my intuition told me to eat some chicken. Now, for those of you that don't know, I've been predominantly plant-based for the past 4 years with incorporating some fish. And I thought that was the best way to eat. And it might be for some people. I don't know. Like, I'm not a nutritionist. You guys know that. Like, I'm not certified. And I don't talk about foods a lot. I used to. On my Instagram, I used to talk about medical medium information and the low-fat plant-based lifestyle, but it quickly changed into more of my tarot and spiritual side. So anyways, my intuition told me to eat chicken, and I was kind of fighting with myself because I'm like, no, chicken's bad for you. Like, why would I need chicken? You don't eat chicken. And my intuition's like, eat chicken. And I was so uncomfortable. I was like, fine. You know what? I kind of felt like I was going to prove myself wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong, body. You don't need chicken. But we'll just go buy some, and we'll eat it, and you'll see. Like, I wanted to prove myself wrong, if that makes sense. Because I'm such a believer in plant foods and the medicinal properties of these natural foods. So, but I go to the store, buy some chicken, come home, eat it, and after an hour, all of that anxiety that I had, that not being able to breathe, that nervousness, that all went away. Like, after an hour, all went away. So I'm sitting there kind of confused, but also feeling so amazing. And I just felt so relaxed the rest of the night. I slept so good at night. I slept so good. And I was confused. I was very confused because my whole reality and my perception of what I feel like is right for my body completely shifted. And so the next day, my body wanted me to eat some eggs. And I was like, what? No. Because when you study medical medium information, he teaches you that eggs are terrible for you. Like, they're one of the worst foods you can eat. They feed viruses, bad bacteria, all this stuff. So you stay away from eggs like the plague. And I was like, well, I'm not going to argue with my body, so I give it eggs. Again, I feel amazing. I feel great. And I start to question things, and I start to get really kind of mad and confused because I thought, well, what's going on? Because I want to let you guys know that I've been working with a holistic practitioner, and about 4 months before this, I got tested for nutrient deficiencies. I got a ton of blood work done because I did feel like my body was missing something. I even got a reading by this amazing psychic, and she said there's something I was missing, some sort of nutrient. So I went and got this full blood work panel done, and I got my iron tested. So my iron was low. It was very, very low. So even before I got tested for that, I had an intuitive feeling my iron was low, so I had been supplementing. So I was already supplementing with iron, got tested, still was super low. So my doctor put me on a blood builder, and I was focusing on plant-rich iron foods and taking iron supplements. So I was very focused on that. And then the other things I was low in was the good bacteria in my body, which I was already taking probiotics, so I switched to a different kind. He put me on a different kind. The other things I was low in was, I think, like my glutathione production. So he put me on NAC, which I've used to be on that. And then there was another thing I was kind of low in. Oh, it was an amino acid found in meat. So he put me on the supplement form, which I believe comes from soy. But that made me really sick. But I wasn't extremely low on that, so he wasn't too worried. So honestly, he said that my blood work looked pretty good. He's like, it looks pretty good. You're not super low on anything except for iron I'm worried about, and then your bacteria production, like your good bacteria. Excuse me. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like I was doing all the right things, and I was eating super clean. I wasn't eating processed foods. I was eating whole food, plant-based, keeping my fat low, which I thought was really good. And I did this for about 4 years, mostly. 4 years. I had a hard time giving up fish, because whenever I did, I felt really, really bad. I think the longest I ever went vegan was about 4 or 5 months, and I just got way too hungry. I was eating enough calories, but I just felt like I needed something more filling. So I always end up eating salmon or tuna, or, I try to get wild caught. But towards the last year that I did this diet, for this lifestyle, I was eating a lot more fish because I just couldn't get full. I was just so hungry. I was eating tons of dates and bananas and potatoes and whole grains and stuff, but I was still hungry. I was eating avocados and, I even tried eating just more fat. I was just hungry, and I had a hard time falling asleep unless I was eating right before I went to sleep. And even with fish, I started eating fish every day, and it wasn't enough. I just felt like I was so hungry, and it didn't make sense to me. So when I started eating meat, I started feeling so much better, and I started eating beef. And now I'm eating meat like every day, and I just feel so calm, and I feel so grounded in my body. And I know a lot of you that follow me do follow Medical Medium, and this is what I have to say about them. At first, I was really upset because I went to YouTube and I found hundreds of ex-vegans who were eating very, very clean, very healthy vegan lifestyles, a lot of them working with practitioners, like nutritionists. And they all got really, really sick, like really sick. And they started eating meat again, and they all had an experience like I did. It was like a euphoric, grounding, I feel back in my body, I feel good experience. And I found so many of these people that were speaking out against plant-based lifestyles because of the harm it did to their body. And I realize it's probably not like that for everybody, maybe, But I personally haven't met anybody that's really thrived or succeeded off plant-based lifestyle. I have seen some people really thrive in the beginning, but I haven't long term. I'm sure there are people out there, I would think, I've heard of people being out there, but I don't know anybody. So I think a plant-based lifestyle can work for some people for a certain amount of time. The thing that I don't like, and I'm going to be honest with you, and this might trigger you, is the people that are on it for years and they're still not feeling good. they're still struggling. They still think they're detoxing. And they're struggling with anxiety, or fatigue, or whatever it is, or maybe symptoms got worse, and people in the, not just medical medium community, but in the plant-based community are just telling them that, oh, you're still detoxing, heavy metals and toxins and this and that, when most likely that's not the case because you don't do that for years. It's just not how your body works. Most likely you're deficient in a nutrient, and I think it's really dangerous for a lot of people. It was dangerous for me. There's other people that were in my medical medium group. We had a support group that have started eating meat again, and they feel a lot better. Not all of them, but there's a handful of us. And I just had a lot of friends get really sick from doing the plant-based lifestyle. And that's just my experience. That's what I've seen. And I was dealing with some anger because not only was I experiencing those symptoms of the histamine intolerance that developed, I had to cut more foods out of my diet over time. And then I was getting not only anxious, but I wasn't motivated. I was feeling depressed and I was getting really tired. It was really hard for me to make content for you guys because I just felt drained a lot. I felt tired. And I wasn't eating vegan junk food. And I was taking all the supplements. I will put them up for you guys, either up on the screen or down below. I'll show you what I was taking. I was taking the B12 and the zinc and the vitamin D and, all that stuff. I was taking way too much. At that point, I was taking so many supplements. I'm like, how is this diet good for me if I have to take 30 supplements a day? It didn't make any sense. Also, another thing that was happening to me was my body was just falling apart. Literally, I felt like my hip kept popping out of place. I had to go to the chiropractor every 2 weeks. My rib popped out of place. And when that happened, I went to my chiropractor and he was like, here, take this supplement. It'll help you heal. This was probably maybe longer than 3 months ago. I was like, okay, cool. And so I take it and then I realized that it has bone liver and beef bone in it. And I was like, oh, this is definitely not vegan or plant-based. I was like, maybe there's a plant-based version. And my intuition told me, no, just take this, Megan. You need this. Just take it. And what I found in a lot of the recovery videos that I've watched of a lot of people being plant-based is their bodies start to deteriorate and fall apart. Hips pop out of place, ribs pop out, because you're not getting the animal protein that you need. That was another thing my doctor did say I was low in was protein. Even though I was taking protein powder, he put me on this special protein powder that was really strong. It was made of rice protein, but that even made me feel like crap. I think the first week I felt pretty good on it, and then after that it just made me feel exhausted. So, yeah. So my body was literally falling out of place. And I'm understanding the importance of animal protein and the cholesterol and how all of that meat helps bind our bodies together and makes our bodies strong and builds us muscle. Because I used to think that you could get everything from plants. There's a lot of convincing vegan information out there, plant-based doctors that can tell you, no, you get everything you need from plants. And the other thing I'm learning about, which is very interesting, and I encourage you guys to look into this as well, if you do eat predominantly plant-based, I'm not saying you should stop, you should listen to your body. If you feel good eating plant-based, you have a lot of energy, you're motivated, yeah, awesome, do it. But if it doesn't start to work and you start to feel like crap, don't get too sucked into it. Look for other options. Because what happens with people in the vegan and plant-based community, they become such a believer of it that they are willing to look to other healing modalities. You're like, no, this is the way. I just have to push through. I have to push through. And you get kind of sucked in, and then you can get really sick if it's not right for your body. Which I feel like for a lot of people it's not right for. Or it is for a temporary period of time, from what I feel. I was coming to a point. Now I lost it. Oh, okay. Yeah. So there's this thing called bioavailability. And every plant, every type of food has a different form of bioavailability. So if you take iron, for example, iron found in plants and there's iron found in meat. And the way our body absorbs these two different forms of iron are very different. And you can find this with any vitamin or nutrient or mineral in our food. but I'm going to use iron as an example. If you take iron from plant sources, your body doesn't absorb it very well. It maybe will absorb 10% or less. If you take iron from meat sources, it's a very absorbable form. So your body really takes in those nutrients. It really takes them in. So I remember learning in like the plant-based community that, why would you eat meat? Like a cow eats grass, right? And he gets all his nutrients from the grass and from the soil, and then you get that from the cow, but why not skip a step? Why not skip the meat and just go straight to the source, straight to the plant, straight to the soil? Well, here's why, because our bodies aren't made to break that down. Like, just like we can't eat grass, we'd be sick. Like, cows have, like, multiple stomachs, and they have a digestive system that can break down plant matter. And our bodies aren't built to break down plants like different animals are. So we have to get our nutrients from the animals in order to thrive. So it's interesting, because I remember following some vegan pages and they would show the nutrient density of tofu versus eggs. And they'd be like, look, tofu has more of this and more of that and more of this. And you'd be like, oh, obviously tofu's a better source. But they don't tell you about the bioavailability, that even though tofu might have more of this vitamin, that your body's only going to absorb 1/10 of that versus the plant-based matter. So that's just something to be aware of. I didn't know about it. And you know what? Like, honestly, I know I don't promote a lot about food anymore, but I know I used to, and I was very adamant about plant-based lifestyles. I thought that it was the only way to thrive. I really thought that it was the best way to live your life, and I just want to say I'm sorry that I was wrong. That I'm sure it is for some people, and obviously I stuck with it because I did see some improvements. I'm not saying it was a complete, total wreck the whole time I was vegan. Or I shouldn't say vegan because I still would eat fish, but plant-based, I saw some improvements, but I still struggled with a lot of ailments, and they kind of went up and down, and the last year things just got really worse. Really worse. Even though I was still eating really clean, I was still really taking care of my body, things got bad, and my body started to fall apart, and yeah, just be careful. I think, there's a lot of, when it comes to spirituality too, a lot of people believe that when you eat a certain way, it carries certain vibration. So if you eat a vegan lifestyle, it's a high vibrational food, it's good for you, but if you eat meat, you're taking on the energy of the animal, it's lower vibration, it's not compassionate, and all of that is all a lie. It's not true. I think that, yeah, sure, if you eat meat that's been factory farmed, it can have a negative effect on your body because it does. It's not a natural way to eat meat. And I don't support that. I think it's terrible. But if you are locally sourcing your meat and finding grass-fed, pasture-raised, then it's really going to be beneficial for you. I started cooking with ghee, which is clarified butter, and I'm lactose intolerant, so I've never been able to eat dairy, but ghee it's made differently, so if you do have a lactose allergy, or an intolerance, I should say, you can eat it. And it feels so good on my stomach. I feel like it's healing my stomach. Every time I eat it, I feel amazing. I started drinking raw milk. I found a farm near me, because that's another thing. If you're lactose intolerant, you can drink raw milk, because if they pasteurize the milk, they kill the necessary enzymes in it that help you break it down. So I've been learning about all the benefits, and it's been making me feel really, really good. Amazing. It's so healing. All of the people that buy milk from this farm are all doing it for healing purposes. They're all healing their gut, and it all works for all of them. So it's really nice. It's really nice. So I feel kind of conflicted about it, because I always thought eating meat was a bad thing. I always thought that even though I wasn't vegan, I was going to get there. Go, I'll get there one day. Like, I'll get there. I'll be enlightened. I'll get there. And I feel like it's all a lie. I feel like, like I said, if you're eating predominantly plant-based and you're doing low fat and it's working for you, then cool, I'm glad. That's awesome. But I did it for 4 years and it didn't work for me. And if you're about to say I did it wrong or I didn't do it long enough, then I think you're wrong because I put my heart and soul into it and I believed in it. My body thrives off meat. It feels better. And I feel like this one girl said it really good because I was doing a lot of research after all this happened or while this was all happening. And she said plants and fruits, they're very cleansing. They're cleansing for the body. They're very cleansing, and meat is nourishing. And if you're constantly cleansing your body, constantly, it's too hard on your body, it wears your body out, and it wears you away over time. Meat is going to nourish you. It's healing in a different way. And I'm learning that. I'm learning the benefits of meat and the nutrients that are more available in it. And I just haven't felt this calm in years. I feel so calm all the time. I'm sleeping so good. I have more motivation and energy to do things. I feel like I can think clearer. You know, I think some people think fish is enough, but not even fish was enough. And it's interesting too because after I did the plant-based thing for 1.5 years, I did mostly vegan, and I didn't know, like some people feel great right away on plant-based. I didn't. I never felt great until after 1.5 years. And when I'm looking back at it, it's interesting because after 1.5 years, that's when I started incorporating more fish. And I think that's why I was feeling better. Not because of the plant-based lifestyle. I mean, I was eating very clean, so of course I was avoiding a lot of processed stuff, but I just wasn't giving my body enough of what it needed. And now I know that. I feel better. I feel like my whole belief in foods and the way to live has changed. It's interesting. I don't trust medical medium anymore. I don't trust him. I've heard a lot of bad things about him from people that have actually met him. And I just get a bad vibe. And I know people are going to be mad at me for saying that. But I just do. Something felt off about it this whole past year, but I wasn't too focused. Like the past year before all these changes, I wasn't super focused on my healing journey through foods. Like I wasn't doing celery juice every day. I wasn't doing the heavy metal detox smoothie all the time because I just felt like it wasn't working, and I felt like I was being too hard on my body. I felt like I needed to love myself and nurture myself, and I didn't know how. And now I'm realizing that a big part of that is through these animal products. It's really nurturing me. I thought meat caused cancer. Like, that's what vegan documentaries will teach you. They'll teach you that it causes cancer, that it causes heart disease, that cholesterol is bad when we need cholesterol. Like, we need a certain amount. Too much is bad, but too much of anything is bad. We need cholesterol. We need these amino acids and things from, in the vegan community or in medical medium, they're like, oh, you don't need protein, you need fructose, you don't need protein. No, we need protein. We need protein. We need a lot of it. I mean, the other interesting thing I found is a lot of people that were plant-based or vegan got so sick on it, like really, really sick, to the point where they couldn't even eat any plants anymore. They had to go to carnivore diet. So they could only eat meat now because their digestive system was so distressed by all the plant matter and all the fiber because fiber basically means undigestible. That's what fiber is. Fiber is an undigestible food. So when you're putting tons of fiber in your body, you're just putting so much undigestible food into you. So it really distresses your stomach, right? It puts a lot of stress on your system. And if you do that for too long, your body's going to start to become intolerant to all these foods, and then all it can tolerate after a while is meat. So there's a lot of ex-vegans out there that have gone carnivore. If you don't believe me, I can send them to you. I can send you videos of their stories, and they're wild. I'm watching these people talk about their experience with their plant-based lives and now eating meat again, and it's like, oh wow, I relate to all of you. I relate to that. I relate to that. Another symptom that I was getting this past year was my teeth were getting really bad. I've never had issues with my teeth. I take really good care of them. I, get my cleanings done, and I floss, and I've always had really strong teeth. And the end of last year, I noticed, so about 6 months ago, all of this buildup of like brown, yellow gunk on the bottom where my gums are. And I was like, oh, like why are my teeth getting gross? This isn't good. Yeah, and then that's a huge thing that happens to people that eat plant-based. Their teeth fall out. And some people try to convince them, oh, you're just detoxing. Like, that's not a detox symptom. Like hair loss, it's not a detox symptom. These are nutrient deficiencies. Of course, if you go plant-based from a standard American diet, you're going to experience some detox. That's obvious. But you're not going to detox for years and detox your bones out of your mouth. That's not how it works. So just be mindful if you are doing the plant-based, or even I think if you do a strict carnivore diet, I think that can be bad too. I think it's about finding a good balance of animal protein and fruits and vegetables. The other thing I've learned is about plants, particularly kale and spinach. Leafy greens, they have a lot of anti-nutrients in them, which I didn't know about that. They have like oxalates and other things in them that are really hard on our system. So plants, like fruit wants to be eaten. Fruit is a very abundant food because it grows on trees, it falls from the trees, we eat the fruit. A lot of the times we discard the pit and they're able to grow another tree. So it's like a really humble symbiosis between us and fruit. They like us to eat them so that we can like spread their seed, basically. But with plants, they don't like to be eaten. They specifically make themselves taste better and taste bad, so people won't eat them. Because I mean, especially if you think about like kale and spinach, like no one likes to just eat that raw. Like it doesn't taste good, right? So they make their food taste bad. They also put toxins in their food. They have these anti-nutrients as a defense mechanism. So a lot of the time, people, like, I've heard eating raw kale is actually really bad for you. And you guys can look this stuff up. I mean, this isn't like, this is real. Like, you can fact check me, it's cool. But they're actually not very good for you. They actually take nutrients away from your body. Right? It's like, what? Grains are another thing. So shortly after I started eating meat again, I was feeling a lot better. And then I was like, I felt intuitively like I should cut out grains. I know people have a hard time with grains, and I've tried to cut them out in the past, but it was too hard eating plant-based because I was too hungry, and you don't have that many options. So I was like, I can't not eat grains. But I had tried before. But this time I was like, all right, I can give up grains because I have meat now. And my back pain is virtually gone. And I thought, no way is that from grains. So I decided to eat some rice one night. And after 30 minutes of eating rice, my back was killing me. And then I stopped eating grains again, and my back's been feeling great. And I usually have back pain every day. So that's been crazy. It's like upper middle back pain. It's just gone. So I would say, from my experience, if you're trying to heal, I would say just you're better off cutting out grains and certain vegetables than you are cutting out meat. I mean, I'm sure some of you are going to disagree with me, but I don't know. I'm kind of still confused myself. What else do I want to talk about? Yeah, I don't know. But you guys, just make sure you keep an open mind to both sides. Because like at first, right, when I found all this new information out, I was kind of mad at medical medium and other vegan gurus and doctors and nutritionists because I thought, how could they do this? This is terrible, you know? But then I look at, you know, I'm sure there are some people doing good with it or, you know, have healed themselves in some way. But I don't like that they promote this diet. A lot of them, I can't say all of them, a lot of them promote this diet as like this is the way to eat for the rest of your life and this is the best way and this is how, you know, our human bodies operate. It's like, no, you can't say that one diet is for everybody. Like, I'm not going to say the way that I eat now is how everybody should eat. I'll never say that again. So I'm trying to keep an open mind towards all of that, even though part of me is like feeling like the vegan community can be cult-like. But even the carnivore community seems a little cult-like too in some instances. So I'm not trying to be a part of any of that anymore. I'm just like, okay, I'm going to eat more intuitively. If my body wants a piece of chicken, I'm going to eat chicken. If my body wants a banana, I'm going to eat a banana. What do you want, body? What do you want? Yeah, the raw milk and the ghee, so healing. I feel so grounded and calm and energized and more alive. I'm really happy. I'm really happy, but also just feeling confused. And kind of sad because I feel like being that strict with my plant-based journey was so hard on my body. And it was really bad for me, for my experience. So I feel a little guilty that I hung on for so long. And I see some of my friends that are still really deep in the plant-based lifestyle, but they're not looking good or feeling good, and they're convinced that they just need to keep hanging on, and one day they'll be better because they see other people that have done well with it, and they compare their journey to other people's, and I've done that myself. I've compared my journey to other people, and just don't do that. Don't do that. If you've been doing a diet or a lifestyle for years, even over like a year or two, and you're still struggling a lot, I would say be open to try something else. Just be open to it. It's really easy to get sucked into certain groups and lifestyles and ways of living, that we can blind ourselves to other options, other opportunities, or other ways of life. I know I did that. I probably still do that in some ways, but I'm trying not to anymore. Oh, you know what else is really cool? This is really cool. I love this. So, for the past year especially, even right after I started being vegan really, I couldn't drink caffeine because it made me super anxious. I couldn't drink any coffee, even tea, which is hard when you still struggle with some bouts of fatigue here and there. And especially this past year, oh my gosh, I couldn't drink any caffeine. 2 days after eating meat, and I was like, I wonder if I could drink caffeine. I had a little bit, and I felt fine. I felt great. I had no anxiety. I was like, oh my gosh, I can drink coffee again. Not that I want to get addicted to it or anything, because I know coffee's not the best, but just to have that option is nice. You know what I mean? Like, if you're having a day where you're dragging or you don't sleep well, and I can have the option of drinking some green tea or whatever. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. So my body feels better too. It feels stronger. My hips not popping out of place anymore like it used to. It would slowly start to pop out of place where it become uneven. And this started happening right after I became plant-based. I've been dealing with this for years. But the past year it's gotten worse. But I usually had to get adjusted every month. Then it was 3 weeks, then it started to become 2 weeks, where it would start to my right hip bone would start to go down, and it just felt like something was pulling on my right leg. And it was similar to sciatica pain, which I've had that too, but it's not sciatica. It's different. But that stopped. Just my overall body's just feeling better and healthier and stronger, and I just breathe better. I breathe better, and I'm eating, like I said, really high quality beef and chicken, and I want to find a local butcher soon so I can be a part of that. Another thing they teach you as well in the vegan community is if you're not eating animals, you're saving the environment, and you feel like you're this warrior, where you're doing such good for your health and the animals and the environment, but there's so many opposing arguments that really veganism isn't the best for your environment. And I'm not going to go into it right now because that's a whole other topic, but you can look into it. The best way to eat for the environment is locally sourced. And being a vegan, it's very hard to eat locally sourced because you're relying more on exotic fruits usually, or supplements sourced from other countries, and green powders that are sourced from other places, and spirulina or whatever you're taking. So it's not really the most environmentally friendly. Also, as well, when they're farming crops across the world, whether it's wheat or corn or soy, whatever it is, any kind of vegetable, they have to kill a lot of animals to protect the crops. And in the process of harvesting they kill a lot of animals. So even if you are eating vegan, a lot of the products you eat, animals still have to die. And I feel like now I understand why we have to eat animals to survive. We do, because I don't feel like I'm dying anymore. I feel like I'm coming back to life, and oh, it's really nice. And when I think about it too, it's interesting because now I'm kind of living more of a paleo lifestyle. So I'm more paleo, but I'm not eating nuts or seeds because I know they're hard on digestion. I'm not eating any beans as well. So I'm eating meats, fruits, and vegetables, basically, and only certain vegetables, mostly root vegetables. So that's basically what I'm eating. But before, when I went paleo, a long time ago, I ate a lot of nuts and seeds, a lot, and it didn't work for me. And I wasn't eating I was eating a lot of salads. I wasn't eating a ton of meat, a little bit. But I realized how I did it wrong because I know I talked crap about the paleo diet a long time ago, and I can see now where I distressed myself on it, and I didn't do it in a very nourishing way like I am now. And yeah. So if you guys have any more questions, you can comment them down below. Let me know what you think. Be nice if you can. I'm not trying to tell you guys how to eat or how to live. I just want to show you how much better I've been feeling and how much happier I am. I'm not feeling depressed at all. I've been eating liver too. Oh, it's so gross. It tastes so gross, but it's so good for you, and it's really helping me get my iron up. So I've been trying to eat beef liver. Yeah, it doesn't taste good though, but you know, doing what I can. And I'm taking a lot less supplements, which is cool. So I'm sending love to you. I hope this helps you or inspired you, or just hopefully I opened your mind a little bit. And yeah, I'm just really excited to see where my life goes now. And I feel like I'm ready to take on the world in a whole new way. So yeah, and my new job's going good too. I started bartending, and everyone there is super nice, and I'm making good money, which is great. So that's another reason I haven't been able to make a lot of content, but it's really been a humbling experience, and it's really been helping ground me and just being social again and like talking to people has been really needed for me. So I'm just embracing that right now in my life and having fun with it. So thanks for watching if you've made it this far, and yeah, let me know your thoughts below if you have any questions or anything. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.